What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. It's another win for the Phillies. Much in part to thanks to Cristopher Sanchez. Just being amazing. Just being amazing. Flat out stud. 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 Complete game. Only one earned run. 12 strikeouts. No walks. Only a few hits allowed. I was even questioning whether he was going to go back out there in the ninth inning for the complete game. You know, he was at 95 pitches. They had Kirkering warming up in that top of the eighth inning. I was questioning to myself, is Cristopher going to come out there for the ninth? You know, with how quickly the bottom of the eighth went, they brought Cristopher Sanchez right back out there. Kirkering was warming up behind him, and it was most likely going to be a short leash type of scenario. You make one mistake, you're out of the game, and Cristopher Sanchez made the most of it as he finished off that ninth inning with relative ease. Throws, somehow Rowan Anthony is for some reason staring at a changeup right down the middle of the plate for a strikeout. Bregman roped one, but a good play by Sosa at third base to record the out. And then, just another strikeout, cherry on top for Cristopher Sanchez. Dude's elite. This dude's amazing. He is flat out a stud. Really, he just is. He just is. And this is more going to be an appreciation type of thing for Cristopher Sanchez. I'm going to try to not stew negatively because obviously Phillies offense, they only scored 4 runs in today's game. Both of those, 4 of those runs came in the first 2 innings of the ball game. Then the offense really did nothing the rest of the way. And I guess you can say 4 runs is enough for Cristopher Sanchez when he's pitching as lights out as he was in today's game. That's just, I guess, how it is. Kyle Schwarber hits a solo shot. Max Kepler hits a solo shot. Bryce Harper, quote-unquote, steals home, but then also doesn't steal home because it got caught for another catcher's interference when he was attempting to steal home plate. The catcher stood in the batter's box as the pitch was coming, and then there was a whole, weird thing going on here, and all the runners advanced because of it, and Marsh went to first base because he was the batter at the time. It was a whole weird situation. It was just another goddamn catcher's interference situation, which did give the Phillies a run in that bottom of the first inning, which was very funny. It was very funny once again. But realistically, besides that, offensively, you went quiet really the rest of the game after those, and Cristopher Sanchez, he just dominated. And I guess that's all you could say. You do win a series here against Boston. And for Cristopher Sanchez as well, the Boston Red Sox, I think they showed many times throughout the game, and a lot of people said it on social media, that the Red Sox are the best offensive team when it comes to facing left-handed pitching. So Cristopher Sanchez, electric stuff, and you do it against the team that's the best against left-handed pitching. Man, great stuff. Cristopher Sanchez just seems like he's getting better start after start. It really just he just does it with ease. The changeup is so nasty. The dramatic increase in velocity that Sanchez has gone through over the past couple of seasons, it's turned him into a completely different pitcher. Just to combine the 97, 98, 99 mile an hour fastball, sinker, whatever he throws there, and you combine that with the changeup and the off-speed stuff, it's just a recipe for, oh my god, how the fuck am I supposed to hit any of this? Surprisingly, his lone blemish was giving up a solo shot in this game that made it 4-1. And besides that, really nothing. He only allowed 4 hits in today's game. He was just that good. He was that dialed in. And thankfully, he does do that. It gives the bullpen guys some much-needed rest. And now you have a chance to sweep this series tomorrow against Boston with Jesus Luzardo on the mound. And you really don't know what you're going to get from Jesus Luzardo tomorrow. So basically, right now, I would say ever since Luzardo blew up against Milwaukee, and it's really just been one good start. Well, actually, one really good start, one horrid start, one really good start, one horrid start, one really good start, maybe start, really good start. It's nothing in between. It's nothing in between from Jesus Luzardo. His last start was not good whatsoever, so I'm assuming he's going to go out there and shove. That's most likely going to be the case, even though I've been proven wrong before. But I would not be shocked if that's the scenario because, like I said, it's really good or it's really bad from Luzardo. So, hey, Cristopher Sanchez with the distance. You'll have rested bullpen arms, and you'll also have a day off on Thursday, so you could go all out in those situations if you fucking need to. But hey, won a series. Most important thing at the end of the day. Really, seriously, did anybody in the Phillies organization when they traded for Cristopher Sanchez, did anybody expect this? When they what the hell did they even trade to acquire Cristopher Sanchez from Tampa Bay? I'm sure it was for nothing basically. Let me see, Cristopher Sanchez trade. I just want to see that full trade. Cristopher Sanchez was traded from Tampa Bay to the Philadelphia Phillies in November of 2019 for Curtis Mead. At the time, the trade was low profile, but Jesus, my God, my God. Mead was a top prospect for the Rays organization, but I'm sure Mead has come nowhere close to what Cristopher Sanchez has become for the Phillies. This dude has turned into an ace. He has turned into an ace. He is an ace caliber pitcher. That's what he is. You basically have two number one caliber pitchers in the top of your rotation with Zach Wheeler and Cristopher Sanchez. That's what you have. It's what you have. Cristopher Sanchez has turned into an ace overnight. You know, when he first really came up, he was coming through, bullpen stints. He was a guy out of the bullpen. Maybe he would make a spot start for you. He would be an opener or something like that. And then he would be up for a little bit. He'd be the guy that comes up if you just need a guy that makes a spot start from the minor leagues. Then you send him right back down. And then you start seeing him a little bit more. You start getting some intrigue from Cristopher Sanchez, but, he comes more in as a bullpen guy. And then you really don't see him establish himself in the starting rotation until, realistically, the second half of 2023, where he was killer. He was very good. And then you go into 2024, he continues to improve on that. And then 2025, this year, he started off a little bit shaky with the command, but every single start he has gotten better. Every single start he has gotten better. And he's just getting better and better and better and better and better and better and better. The Phillies could not have thought that when you acquired Cristopher Sanchez in that very small trade for Curtis Mead, you traded Cristopher Sanchez for Curtis Mead. And you acquired, I don't know why I'm saying that weird. I'm wording it weird. You acquired Cristopher Sanchez for Curtis Mead. I don't know why I keep repeating that. But in that whole process, I don't think they expected Cristopher Sanchez to turn into an ace. I don't think they expected that whatsoever. Compared to probably like where he was ranked in the Phillies prospect system, I'm sure he wasn't close to the top. And this dude just completely came out of nowhere, I guess you could say, to turn into what he's turned into. And especially that you extended him last season to, what was it, like a 3 or 4 year extension, even though he still has a bunch of team, control left on his contract before his extension kicks in. That is a very team-friendly contract. It is very, especially if Cristopher Sanchez continues to dominate over the course of this contract the way he has been dominating. You are talking about a Cy Young caliber pitcher. That's how good he is pitching. Cy Young caliber. No wonder why so many of us were hammering for Cristopher Sanchez to at least be recognized for the All-Star game. And they didn't do that. And who knows, maybe Cristopher Sanchez is taking that a little bit personally. Phillies did give him that All-Star bonus, so that was a good look on the organization. But, maybe Cristopher Sanchez is bottling that up a little bit. And what is this? Is this his first start after the All-Star break? I believe it is. And he goes out there and shoves. So, complete game. And, yeah, that's one way to respond after not being elected to the All-Star roster. So, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Just appreciation, man, because, like I said, no one expected Sanchez to turn into this. Just dynamite, man. Dynamite. And just his overall numbers. I just want to see, like, where his stats have gone, like, over the course of this season. Like, if you go into his first start, which was in March, that was the home opener against Colorado, he allowed 1 earned run, 4 earned runs against the Dodgers, 1 earned run against St. Louis, 2 earned runs against San Francisco, 7 innings there. 2 earned runs against the Mets. He came out of that game early with a little bit of, I believe it was back spasms or something like that, or like some arm fatigue or something like that. 5 innings, 2 earned runs against the Washington Nationals. He went 6 shutout innings against Tampa Bay. 6 innings, 2 earned runs against St. Louis. 6 innings, 3 earned runs against Colorado. 4 2/3 against the Athletics. That was probably his shortest outing in a while, I would say. Besides like the 2 innings against the New York Mets. The Braves, he went 5 2/3, allowed 2 earned runs. Toronto, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Pittsburgh, 7 innings, 2 earned runs. Toronto again, 7 innings, 2 earned runs. Miami, 8 innings, 1 earned run. Houston, 6 innings, 1 earned run. He definitely deserved to win in that game. The Padres, before the 2 starts that he had against the Padres, were absolutely dominant. The one in Philadelphia, 7 innings, 1 earned run. The start that he had in San Francisco started out very shaky in the first few innings, but he really settled in and he went 7 innings, only allowed 1 earned run. Like, that's even crazy from there as well. And then the start before the All-Star break, 7 1/3 innings with 1 earned run. And he could have gone deeper into that game. He really could have. He started the 8th inning. They took him out after the first out. He had 86 pitches, so it's just dial in, man. Just dialed in. He had in his only start in April, he had the 1.69 or the one start that he had in March, 1.69 ERA. His ERA for the month of April was 3.81. Then his ERA for the month of May was 3.18. In June, it was 1.85, and then July it was 1.27. His ERA, he's just dominating. He's just dominating. That's as simple as you can put it. He is just simply dominating. It's fantastic stuff, boys. It is fantastic stuff. And just to go over the game a little bit, you go to that bottom of the first inning. Trey Turner, he singles. Bryce Harper, then he singles as well, which allows Trey Turner to move over to third base. And then Castellanos gets a single to score Trey Turner. It was a blooper, which also allowed Harper to go to third base. Castellanos, he also stole second base during the situation. And then during the Brandon Marsh at bat, that was, Bryce tried to steal home. And then obviously the catcher's interference and with all that weird stuff became a 2-0 Phillies lead. And then all the base runners advanced. Kemp then flew out to end the inning, so it was only 2 runs on the board. Then you go bottom 2, Kepler with the solo shot to lead off the second. Then you had Kyle Schwarber with a 2-out solo shot as well to make it 4-0, and that would basically be the rest of your offense. Ref Snyder, he had the solo shot in the top of the 4th, but that was realistically the only difficult inning, I would say, for Cristopher Sanchez. Besides that, he was very good. You have bottom of the 4th. Kemp had a single, Turner had a single, nothing happened there. Bottom 5, Harper had the leadoff walk, nothing happened. Bottom 6, Kemp was hit by a pitch, but then he got thrown out trying to steal second base. Kepler then walked, nothing really happened there. Bottom 7, you go down 1, 2, 3. Yeah, realistically, since the first 2 innings, you really didn't do much. The Red Sox did go to the bullpen early in this game. I don't think who was it on the mound again? Was it Fitz or whatever his name was? Yeah, Fitz. He only went 3 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. So, yeah, the Red Sox really wanted to get him out of that bullpen very quickly, or out of the game very quickly. So, and really, I just want to also look at Cristopher Sanchez's night just to see what his most difficult inning was. He went 1, 2, 3 in the top of the first, 1, 2, 3 in the top of the second, 1, 2, 3 in the top of the third. The 4th inning, he allowed the solo shot. He allowed a 1-out single, and then that was the only other base runner in that inning. Top 5, he went 1, 2, 3. Top 6, he went 1, 2, 3. He struck out the side actually in the 6th. Top 7, he allowed an infield single there, which was, a rushed throw by Trey Turner, which kind of brought Harper off of the bag. Top 8, he allowed an infield single, but then retired the next 3 guys. And then top 9, 1, 2, 3. So realistically, he only had a couple of difficult innings, and it were really even that difficult. It was just 1 or 2 base runners. That was really it. That's how good he was. That's how dominant he was in this game. Great stuff. Going to the lineup perspective, Trey Turner had a multi-hit game. He went 2 for 4. Kyle Schwarber went 1 for 4 with a solo shot. Bryce Harper 1 for 3 with a walk. He also, I'll count him trying to steal home. I'll count it as a stolen base at home. I'll count that, even though it's not counted. It's catcher's interference. Nick Castellanos, he went 1 for 4 with an RBI. JT 0 for 4. Marsh 0 for 3. Kemp 1 for 3. Sosa came in as a defensive replacement. Kepler went 1 for 2 with a walk and a solo shot. And then Bryson Stott went 0 for 3. Runners in scoring position, you went 1 for 6. You only had 7 hits on the day. Red Sox only had 4. And think about this. Roman Anthony, at the plate 4 times. He struck out 4 times to Cristopher Sanchez. That was just... And the one strikeout that he had in that ninth inning, he just stared at a changeup right down the middle of the plate. Like, dude, what are you staring at? Not trying to take any away from Sanchez. It was a hanger. It definitely was a hanger. But I don't know what Anthony's looking for. I don't know what Roman Anthony is looking for. But man, that's the prospect going up against a major league caliber pitcher, even far better than a major league caliber pitcher. He is an ace caliber pitcher, Cy Young caliber pitcher. My God, my God. What else is there from this game? Really, not specifically. It's the same usual Phillies offensive stuff. Like I keep saying, they scored 4 runs. It was enough for Sanchez, but still the offense is nowhere close to good enough. So you win the series. It looks like right now the Mets are beating the Angels 3-2. So you'll stay that half game above them in the standings. If they do end up winning that game, who knows if the Angels do come back or not. The Braves continue to be the Braves. They're losing 9-0 to the San Francisco Giants. And yeah, realistically, you don't have to worry about anything there with the rest of the NL East. The Marlins, they're 10.5 out, even though they've been playing better. They're still, what, 8 games under 500. They're 10.5 out of the division. My God. The Milwaukee Brewers, they just continue to win baseball games. They're now 20 games above 500. They are the best team in the National League. And they're the best team. Are they the best team in baseball? Or is that... No, they are the best team in baseball. They do have the best record in baseball. Detroit also has 60 wins, but they played 2 more games than Milwaukee. Weird. Definitely weird. So, interesting stuff. In terms of the wild card, just to see where the wild card's shaking up. Cubs, they're now the first wild card spot, so I'm assuming if the Brewers keep winning, the Cubs will probably retain that wild card top spot. The Mets, they have the second wild card spot currently, and the Padres, they have the third wild card spot. They're 3 games up on the teams on the outside looking in. St. Louis is 3 games back. Giants are 3 games back. They've lost 6 in a row, even though they're going to snap that losing streak. The Reds, they're 3.5. The Diamondbacks, they're 5. Then the rest of that. So, and for the Cubs, they're 4.5 up in the wild card spot. The Mets are 2 games up in their second wild card spot. So, a little bit of a standings update there for you guys. And really nothing else. This was just greatness from Cristopher Sanchez. It's just flat out amazing. Flat out amazing. Seriously, when do you start considering that Cristopher Sanchez should be in the Cy Young race? He probably already is. But like if we're talking about a top 3 finish for Cristopher Sanchez, is that doable? I think it's doable. I really do think it is. I really do think it's doable for Cristopher Sanchez if he just continues to pitch like this. Because, obviously, I do want to look at the NL Cy Young favorites, actually. Cy Young odds for 2025. I want to see if there's anything that is updated right now. So we have the NL Cy Young. Okay, so let's see. So right now, Zach Wheeler this is on ESPN right now, so I'm not sure if it's different on any other sports book. So these are odds from ESPN bets, so we need to see if there's anywhere else. So right now, Zach Wheeler is the favorite so far in the National League. Paul Skeens is like directly behind him. Zach Wheeler's a -130. Paul Skeens is a -105. And then the third best odds are Logan Webb from San Francisco. And then the fourth best odds right now are Ranger Suarez, actually 4-1. So I'm not sure if anything's going to be updated right there. I do want to see if there's anything else. Let's see. This is 6 days ago. Let's see. Cristopher Sanchez so this is as... So that they have the summary right here on Google from like multiple different betting spots, the AI overview from Google. So Paul Skeens and Zach Wheeler are both a -110 odds. Cristopher Sanchez's odds are +3,200. Interesting. It describes him, he's a lesser known but strong contender having a fantastic season. Logan Webb is +5,000, and then Ranger Suarez is +6,000. Those are the top contenders for the NL Cy Young. Then they say some dark horses, Robbie Ray, Andrew Abbott, Freddie Peralta, then Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And yeah. So most likely if you're thinking about the Cy Young race, you know Wheeler's going to be involved. You know Paul Skeens is going to be involved. What's Logan Webb's numbers, actually? Logan Webb, what are his numbers? What are his numbers this year? 9-7 with a 3.08 ERA. Wonder if that takes him out a little bit there. But if things go the way they continue to go, maybe Cristopher Sanchez does finish top 3. Maybe he does. Maybe you see 2 Phillies in the top 3. But I really do think Zach Wheeler, with the way that he's pitching as well, he is overdue for a Cy Young. He is completely overdue for a Cy Young. Finishing second in multiple seasons. He should have won a Cy Young at this point. He realistically should have won the Cy Young in 2021. He wasn't going to win it last year just because with Chris Sale, with the pitching triple crown, he just wasn't going to beat that. That was going to skew voters. He really should have won in 2021 now. He pitched way more innings than Corbin. And it's not to knock Corbin Burns. I just think innings pitched should have been more valued in that situation. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But there's still 2.5 months left to be played. So we don't know what could happen in that point. Cristopher Sanchez can just continue to dominate. He lowers his ERA. He eventually becomes the Cy Young favorite. Wheeler continues to dominate. He runs his way to a Cy Young, or some of these guys struggle for a few starts. Maybe that takes them out of the running. I have no idea. I thought Wheeler, after the home run that he allowed to lead off the game yesterday, I thought he was going to struggle. And then Zach Wheeler struggled and was 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 12 strikeouts. So that was Zach Wheeler struggling. And granted, he did allow 4 earned runs against the Padres, but whatever. I'm sure Zach Wheeler will be fine as the season goes along. But it's definitely an interesting conversation to have. It really is. It really is. But if we look at tomorrow's game, obviously Phillies will have a chance to sweep tomorrow. It's 7 o'clock. It looks like it's just going to be, it's an ESPN exclusive game. So people that don't like nationally televised broadcasts, there you go. You're not going to like it. It'll be Jesus Luzardo against Lucas Giolito. Giolito, he is 6-2 with a 3.59 ERA. Let's just see where he has been pitching-wise this year. So he got off to a shaky start. He's been very good in July. Got a 2.37. So his ERA has been getting. So he was good in June. He had a very bad first game in June, but then he had no earned runs, 2 earned runs, no earned runs. He's been on a good stretch. His last start, though, 5 1/3 with 4 earned runs against the Cubs. But going up against the Phillies lineup, it's probably due for 3 earned runs or less. So I'm not guaranteeing anything from the Phillies lineup at this rate. You just can't. You cannot guarantee shit. You can't. Even though there's going to be that random game where the Phillies explode and score 10-plus runs, because that always happens with this team. It's rare. It's at this point, it's once in a blue moon. But they are overdue for it, but I'm really not expecting it to happen. They do have the day off on Thursday as well, so who knows? Maybe they go ball busters, or they do we won the series, ho-hum, it's getaway day, not really a getaway, it is a getaway day because they do go on the road this weekend. So we'll see what happens. I would like a sweep tomorrow. That'd be nice. I would like to go to a game where they win for a change, because the last few games I've been to, they've gotten destroyed. So hopefully it changes, at least for my luck. That would be nice. Please. I guess you could say I don't have to stress tomorrow about winning a series, but I'll probably stress regardless. Or I'll be mad. I don't know. The only way I'll be happy is if they sweep, and it depends on the type of win, I guess you could say. But we'll see. Got a voicemail and a text message as well. We'll get to the one text message. Steven says Sanchez with a masterclass tonight. Yeah. Definitely an understatement, masterclass. It's probably the exact description, masterclass. But we do have a call from Sean, so we might as well get to that. And I'm sure Sean's just going to go goo gaga over Cristopher Sanchez, which he rightfully should.
An exquisite performance by Cristopher Sanchez, a master class of pitching. And I got to tell you, I know that Zach Wheeler, and rightfully so, commands a lot of attention, but let's not sleep on what this guy is doing. He's not only going out there and winning games, he's dominating games. He's making it look easy. He's making it look like he's pitching, playing catch in the backyard. And again, no support really from your offense, although 4 runs for the Phillies, I guess you can call an offensive explosion. I don't know. But,
I guess.
What more can you say? Finish what you started. That was old school pitching from Cristopher Sanchez, and it nets you a series win. With Luzardo pitching tomorrow, your guess is as good as mine as to what performance you're going to get. He was really wretched his last time out, so I guess that means he'll throw a good game tomorrow. But again, the one consistent thing is you're not going to get a lot of runs from the offense regardless. So,
Yep.
But tonight is about Cristopher Sanchez. You know, let's start giving this guy more national pub, shall we? Because he is a legitimate Cy Young candidate.
Rightfully said. Rightfully said. He should be definitely a Cy Young candidate with the way that he is pitching. But we'll see where the rest of the year goes. But he continues pitching this way. He's finishing top 3 in the Cy Young voting, 100%. To go to the Jesus Luzardo thing, and just like going off of that pattern of one really bad start, one really good start, one really bad start, one really good start. So let's look at the pattern right here. So, ever since that 12-run destroying that, just against Milwaukee, where he just was not good and they kept him in for way too long, he allowed 8 earned runs against Toronto. So that was 2 bad starts in a row. And then had the good start against the Cubs, 6 innings, 1 earned run. Then he had a bad start against Miami, 5 innings, 4 earned runs. Then he had a really good start against the Mets, 6 2/3, no earned runs. I guess you could say that was a good start against the Braves, 5 innings, 2 earned runs. I guess you could say that was solid. Wasn't anything special. But then 2 innings, 5 earned runs against Cincinnati, 7 innings of shutout baseball against San Francisco, and then 4 2/3 against the Angels with 4 earned runs. So we really don't know what we're going to get from Cristopher Sanchez. From Jesus Luzardo. We really don't know what we're going to get. I guess you could say tomorrow he'll dominate because it's a team that is above 500. I guess. So I just want to see the teams that he does pitch good against in terms of Milwaukee. Okay, I think Milwaukee at the time was below 500. I don't remember. They could have been. I don't know. So I'm just trying to go into the thing. Toronto, I think, was below 500 when they played the Phillies, or they were around 500 when they played the Phillies. Cubs were an above 500 team. He shoved. Miami was a below 500 team. He got rocked. Mets were an above 500 team. He shoved. Braves, they were below 500 team, but it was Reds were hovering around 500. He got rocked. Giants were an above 500 team. He shoved. And the Angels were a below 500 team. He did not shove. He got rocked. So I really don't know what to expect. I guess you could say because the Red Sox are an above 500 team, that means he'll probably shove. But I'm not guaranteeing shit because it's my luck, and I've been to my last so many games. This will be my 3rd of my last 4 games seeing Jesus Luzardo pitch. One of those was against the Cubs where he shoved, and the other one was the 4th of July where he got rocked against the Reds. And then the start in between was the mid-game one where he got rocked against the Mets. So, either I'm due for a very good game, or it's going to be more of the same. So I'm not guaranteeing shit. I'm just going to go there and pray. And pray. And pray. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. Steven then also leaves another text message, says R.I.P. Ozzy. Yeah, that definitely sucked today. That definitely sucks seeing Ozzy. R.I.P. R.I.P. He lived a good life, though. Lived a good life. A lot of people would say, shockingly, how he lived that long. But overall, definitely is a stinger to see. It even sucks too after he had that farewell concert not that long ago. Maybe that was the last thing that his body was able to do. He had so much throughout his life and all that stuff. So it's definitely crazy. It's definitely sad. A lot of people that grew up on Black Sabbath's music. I know my sister was definitely upset. I know her boyfriend's definitely upset about that. They're definitely Black Sabbath fans. Yeah, it definitely sucks. I know, obviously, the first thing people went to, Nick Castellanos solo shot. Did not happen today, sadly. Let's see. Let's go to the chat right here, and then we'll end it off. Franco, how you doing? Sanchez masterclass. That changeup was pure filth, and this dude is a future Cy Young. I agree. Also, Kepler hitting a home run was not on the bingo card tonight. He gets one into a blue moon. That's really the only good solid contact that he makes is when he hits a home run. And it's rare. I'm glad Rob Thompson kept him in from Star Wars. I am glad too. I'm very glad. I know people would have been very mad if Cristopher Sanchez didn't come back out for the ninth. They were definitely thinking bullpen arm when they got him, when they trade for him. Yeah, that does make sense. Dave Dombrowski, will you trade for 2 bats? No runs after the second inning. I can't handle the offense is why they got bounced again. Saul Roberts from some dude. Never heard of. Just do it. Luis Robert. Robert needs to change the scenery. Get Suarez from Arizona as well. If you can get Luis Robert for cheap, and there's the change of scenery, and going into an environment that is, quote unquote, going into a playoff spot, maybe that brings more in his game. There is immense talent in Luis Robert. There obviously is, fielding wise, hitting wise. He actually is very good against left-handed pitching, which is something the Phillies desperately need from the right side. I just want to see his splits because I think career-wise he's been very good against left-handed pitching. This year he's batting 206, 10 home runs. Obviously he's not been good, but I think lately he's been better. But that's still not saying much. His splits though against left-handed pitching. Against left-handed pitching this year, he's batting 299 with a 427 on base, 522 slug, and a 979 OPS. 5 home runs, 13 RBIs. He dominates left-handed pitching. Against righties, he's batting 177, 245 on base, 279 slugging, 524 OPS. He has 5 home runs, 27 RBIs. Yeah, he just dominates left-handed pitching. And I think for his career, it's the same. Let's see. What's his career against left-handed pitching? Career against left-handed pitching, batting 301, 376 on base, 519 slug, 895 OPS with 24 home runs, 70 RBI. Makes sense. Makes sense. He's a right-hander with pop. So maybe change of scenery, like I said, bringing him into a competitive environment. Maybe that brings more in his game. Maybe that, getting out of a terrible, just terrible ran franchise with the White Sox. Maybe it does. He was a former number 1 overall prospect. Number 1 ranked prospect. You never remember, you know what I mean? Who knows, though? But then there comes, like, the argument, like, right here from Sam. He's a project. Why would we trade for a project? That definitely doesn't make sense, too. Why would you trade for that? Why would you try to trade for a guaranteed thing? But then I guess you could say the argument is there's really not much guaranteed shit in the market. There really just isn't. Unless you want to try to convince the Athletics to trade Brett Rooker, which I just still don't think they're going to do. I know there's a bunch of rumors about them, now maybe listening to offers about Mason Miller, but I'll see it when I believe it. Stott is dog water offensively. Dude cannot buy a hit. Before we end it, this is my thoughts on the trade deadline. This is what I think they have to do. Because obviously at this point, I think at this point, lineup should take the fucking priority over the bullpen. Granted, you need bullpen arms, obviously. That's without a fact. I'm not saying just ignore bullpen. I'm not saying that whatsoever. This lineup is bad. This lineup is bad. 1 through 3 after the first 3 batters in your lineup at the black fucking hole. You can maybe argue about 4 after 4, but definitely after 3 at the black hole. 100%. But you need bats. And the thing that I think they should do, which I don't think they're going to do, is you go through the trade deadline. You model your trade deadline after what the Braves did in 2021, where they just completely reshaped their outfield. They got Soler, they got Jock Peterson, they got I forget his name. Why am I blanking on his name? They basically just completely reshaped their outfield, and that made them more deeper, and that helped them with the playoffs and obviously winning a World Series and that stuff. And granted, that year Acuna got hurt for the rest of the season, so they were forced to really reshape their entire outfield. Didn't they also bring back they got why am I blanking on names? Why am I blanking? I know it was Peterson, Jock Peterson. I know they got Jorge Soler. They brought who was the guy they traded that was on the Marlins that used to be a Brave? Why am I blanking on his name? And the other guy that was from the Twins that they traded for. Why am I blanking on these names? I don't know why. But basically, they got 4 guys that were outfielders. Adam Duvall is one of them. Adam Duvall. I forget the other guy. I don't know why. But they got those 4 guys, and that completely hit, reshape their process and reshape their outfield. But here's the thing, Joe, and I'm not going to take anything away from blame away from Dave Dombrowski. I just want to know, like, and this is something that just doesn't make sense to me. Dave Dombrowski, throughout his entire tenure as a baseball executive, Eddie Rosario, thank you, Eddie Rosario. I for some reason could not think of that name. I could not think of his name. But Dave Dombrowski, his entire career, has been known as a guy that is very aggressive at the trade deadline, a guy that is just a very aggressive on moves in general. He will purge prospect systems. He will trade away prospects to get proven talent, big name talent, just talent in general to make your major league roster better. And all of a sudden, he completely changes his philosophy once he comes to Philadelphia. And he's very protective of prospects. He doesn't want to trade the top prospect type of guys. He doesn't want to make these big trades. He really doesn't want to do anything like that. I just don't buy it that he all of a sudden snapped like that. Okay, I can't do this anymore. Because you found so much success doing that by winning a World Series, obviously, with Boston, winning a World Series with the Marlins, and making that Detroit Tigers run, very sustainable, playoffs, even though they didn't win a World Series. I just don't think Dave Dombrowski just completely changed his philosophy. Like, right there. There has to be something more from higher up that's telling him, hey, we can't trade all these prospects. We can't burn our prospect system. And I really think that's John Middleton. And it also comes to the same question. Why would John Middleton so many years ago saying that we're going to spend money stupidly, we're going to do anything it takes to win I want my fucking World Series trophy back, like basically saying he'll do anything to get his trophy back, and all of a sudden he doesn't want to trade prospects, and it really brings to light from the comments that he had the other day. It really just does. I really think it's really John Middleton. I really think it's John Middleton. That's And I'm not saying, even with limited resources, Dave Dombrowski still has to go out and find better things. So I'm not trying to take the blame away from Dave Dombrowski, because I still think he is a smart baseball man that should go out there with limited resources and make moves, but he's making himself look stupid. I really think it's more John Middleton than anything. He is limiting the Phillies from going out there and making moves because he's so afraid to trade prospects. And especially when he brings up the comments about, this is from the other day when he's talking about, oh, Ruben Amaro, he made all these moves, he acquired all this great talent, he acquired Cliff Lee, Roy Halladay, all this stuff. He acquired so many names, and then we didn't win a World Series. He's basically like using that as the excuse for why the Phillies shouldn't go out on the trade market and make blockbuster trades at the trade deadline, because because when you acquired such great talent that it just happened to not work out in your favor to win a World Series, but those guys still performed for you, which is insane to even think about. Now, I'm not saying Ruben Amaro was a fantastic GM. Definitely was not. The later half of Ruben Amaro, God no. God no. But still, the philosophy of that mindset from Middleton, it really just bothers me. Because how do you go from barking that you want your trophy back and saying that you're going to do anything that you want, to now probably shifting your philosophy and saying, oh shit, I really shouldn't have said that stuff. We got to think about 5 to 10 years down the line, because we got to have a baseball team 5-10 years down the line. That's not something that you tell this fan base. That's something that this fan base doesn't want to hear right now. They just don't. And why, yes, there is logic to it, but it's when you're in a World Series window, that shouldn't be your main priority. And in fact, you should be able to do both. You should be able to do both. Why do you think some of these other organizations that have so much sustained success? Because you can make these big trades and you can also sustain prospects, because you're good at developing, and you're good at developing so many prospects that you can interchange prospects that come in throughout your system. You can flush them out in trades, and you could do so much things, including with spending money, making moves at the trade deadline, making moves in the offseason for your major league roster. You could do all of it. And for some reason, John Middleton doesn't think you can do all of it. It's either one or the other extreme. You could do all of it. at once. Why I think the Dodgers have so much sustained success. Granted, the Yankees haven't won a World Series in so long. They're a team that's always around there with their prospect system and blah blah blah. They're willing to make the big moves. It's just I don't know. I don't know. But then Julian, I think the Braves go too far to the one extreme as well. They focus too much on developing prospects. They focus too much on their farm system to where they don't go out there and spend money. And when they do try to splurge on money, it's for the wrong talent. Think about it. They replaced Freddie Freeman with Matt Olson. And granted, I'm not knocking Matt Olson as a player. He's a fine player. It has not been the same since Freddie Freeman was traded. It definitely was not. You need to have a mix. You need to have a mix of being able to spend your money, making good trades, and developing your prospects. You need all that. And that's why you see teams like the Dodgers with so much success, because they do all three. If you're too far extreme into one situation, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Why I think the Braves won the World Series in 2021, because they went out on the trade market and traded for a bunch of major league proven talent. You brought major leaguers in to help. And then basically since then, and even look at some of the prospects the Braves are trying to call up to replace names. They have not been good. They haven't been good. So I think the Braves, in one extreme, they focus too much on developing prospects. And that also hinders teams like you also just brought up Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, that's basically their entire team philosophy, because their owner doesn't want to spend money. And granted, they've been to a World Series, they've been into the playoffs, they've been good teams, but they really haven't been able to win it all because you're so steadfast in one extreme of developing prospects and focus on that, and focusing on just bringing in flyers on people and somehow turning them into solid talents. Still not good enough. Obviously, it's not. Because when you can have a good regular season team, but when you get to the playoffs, you get crushed. You need to have a mix of basically everything. And the Phillies, I don't know where they want their direction to be. That's the problem that I have with some of John Middleton's comments. But yeah, but that's the thing. Yes, John Middleton has spent money. But when you bring out comments that you're going to do anything possible to get your trophy back, money shouldn't be an option. Luxury taxes shouldn't be an option. You shouldn't be concerned about all that stuff. You should be willing to spend as much money as possible, regardless of the luxury taxes. He'll spend his money, but he'll spend it to a certain limit. Like, I'm not saying that he's cheap. I'm not saying that he's willing. He has his limits, and that's the problem with Middleton. He has his limits. It shouldn't take like, oh, because I spent a lot of money on this guy, I shouldn't go after spending a lot of money on this guy. Oh, because I spent a lot of money on this one, I shouldn't trade top prospects to get more names in here. It shouldn't be like that. Look, there's so many teams that can go out there and they just, well, not really. There's not so many teams. There's very few teams, but when those teams do spend money, they spend it in bunches. So, I don't know. John Middleton just rubs me the wrong way. He just does. And like I said, it's not trying to take blame away from Dave Dombrowski, because Dave Dombrowski is part of the issue. I just think that when a guy that is known to be like uber aggressive in the trade market and bringing in all these names and purging a prospect system, all of a sudden he comes here and that's not his philosophy, I think it comes from the higher up. I think it comes from the higher up, because John Middleton is so terrified of trading away prospects, and when this window eventually does close, when, eventually you're in the back end of Bryce Harper's career and all that stuff, you're in the back end of some of these contracts, it's going to be bad baseball. And you're not going to have fans in the seats. He's so focused on keeping fans in the seats to where you're probably hurting your major league team in the process, on a team that's trying to win a World Series. Because you have Zach Wheeler, who said he's going to retire after his contract's done. You don't know what's going to happen with Bryce Harper on the back end of his career, even though he's still trying to get that stupid contract extension. Ray Turner you're stuck with. Schwarber's a free agent. You should have re-signed Schwarber by now. You're locked into Aaron Nola. You're locked into some names. JT's a free agent. Ranger's a free agent. Kyle's a free agent. You should be bringing back Kyle. Ranger, I wouldn't mind if you let walk, because I'm afraid about extending Ranger Suarez. I feel like you could replace that. I don't know. Middleton seems like a guy and a man of the people person, but does everything possible to not please the fans. Yeah, he's worried about keeping money in his pocket, but dude's a billionaire. Spend your money. Don't have limits on your money. You get so much of that money back because your ballpark's packed every single day. I wanted this whole thing to be more of appreciation about Cristopher Sanchez, and it dwelled negative because of John Middleton. John Middleton just rubs me the wrong way. I really feel like it's John Middleton more than anything that's preventing this Phillies team from going over the top. I really just feel like that's the case. Yes, Dave Dombrowski is part of the blame. But when you have an owner that doesn't want to go to the full extent of going all out to win a World Series, that reflects on your front office. That reflects on your president of baseball operations. That reflects on your manager. That reflects on your coaching staff. That reflects on the players that you have on the roster. And it's just a spiral. Yeah. Yeah. Middleton just flip-flops. He doesn't know where he wants to be. He really does not know where he wants to be. And I really think what he said last year after last year's trade deadline and that Scott Lauber piece, I really think that was just saving face with the fan base. I really think it was. I really think it was when he's talking about striking when the iron is hot. That was saving face 100% when you had the words that he said previous a couple of days ago. Now everything could be smoke and mirrors, and then the Phillies could go out there and have a ball buster trade deadline. But I still have to see it to believe it, because right now this regime hasn't done that. I wouldn't be shocked if they go out and have a ball buster deadline because they are desperate. But I also wouldn't be shocked if they don't. If they just get marginally better, like they've been doing. We'll see. We'll see. But it's finally time to end it here. Finally time to end it here. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciating Cristopher Sanchez. Didn't mean to dwell so far into the negative of John Middleton, but that's where we went. So don't forget to leave your comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. Also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up.